So I just pre-ordered the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 recently, and I'm not gonna lie, it's amazing. The hardware, the feel, and the overall experience is super polished and is definitely the best fold to ever come out. But, and there's always a but, the price was less than ideal, and it got me thinking. We've had foldables for over half a decade now. This isn't experimental tech anymore. It's time Samsung treated the Fold like a refined flagship, not a prototype with a luxury price tag. I've been visiting my local Best Buy daily to mess around with the Fold 7, and every time I do, I think, what if Samsung finally gave us two models? For next year, a regular Fold 8 and a Fold 8 Ultra that actually lives up to its name. So here it is, my full Galaxy Z Fold 8 wishlist. I don't think I'm asking for anything too crazy, just the features that match the premium price Samsung already charges. Display. Bright, clear, and finally anti-reflective. First off, the anti-reflective coating. You guys have already done it on the S24 Ultra and the S25 Ultra and the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra. So come on, just do it. Put it on both displays. If it's not possible for the inner display, even though I'm highly sure it is, just build an anti-reflective screen protector as part of the factory applied film. Second, make it bright. The Fold 7 isn't too bad, but the brightness could be a lot better. I wanted to reach 3000 nits, compete with the best flagships on the market, especially in the outdoor visibility, make it the brightest foldable to ever exist. And really need this for outdoor use case or HDR content. Samsung, you're the king of displays, so show everyone why you rule supreme. Nextly, I know this is a controversial one that has recently brought up, but for the S Pen Digitizer, make it built in and ready. I'm not one of those people who are mad at Samsung because the Fold 7 took out the S Pen, but if Apple can make their iPad Pro pencil work without a digitizer layer, why can't Samsung explore that route? Or just bring back a dedicated digitizer, especially for the Fold 8 Ultra, which should have a built-in S Pen on the right side. Yes, right, because who is left-handed? Literally nobody's left-handed. And if you comment you're left-handed, stop. Sorry. But make that said S Pen bigger by like 25 to 50%. Maybe 50 is a little too much, but if it's an 8-inch phone, I need to have something that doesn't feel like it's going to snap in my hand at any given moment. Nextly, the charging and cooling. It's time for modern standards. 45 watt fast charging should be the baseline. 25 watts in 2025 is so mid. Even Samsung's own mid range phones are catching up. And, okay, if you can't do 45 watts, fine. At least bump it up to 35. It's not a huge jump, but consumers will certainly notice it. And add a better copper vapor chamber cooling system because it should be standard in this Fold 8 Ultra, especially when you're gaming and doing heavy multitasking combined with 16 gigabytes of RAM. It would be an absolute game changer. I've had Copilot made a graph of all the Fold models' batteries from the original Fold to the newest one right now. And some key takeaways here you can see is Samsung has kept the same battery capacity at 4,400 milliamp hours since the Fold 3 in 2021. They were focusing on a more efficient chipset and software optimization. And yes, I do know that the Fold 7 is the most efficient one yet, like they say every year, despite being the thinner than every single Fold to ever exist. In the real world footage I've seen on YouTube, like taking 4K videos, scrolling through social media, or playing games, do show the gradual improvements in on screen time across generations, especially that the cover screen is more usable and you don't need to open it up every single time. I want to see a bigger battery. It doesn't have to be something giant. Maybe use the same 5001 you use in your Ultra phones. I want to reach in the 5000 range, or just use the silicone carbon batteries that have been coming out recently. I do know it's new, and it just hit the scene in 2023 thanks to Chinese market phones like the Honor Magic 5 Pro, and it's really only started to gain traction this year with flagships like, the OnePlus 13, the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, and Oppo Find 5M. Yes, it's in its early rollout phase, but you're Samsung. You guys have always experimented with things. If you don't know what silicone battery tech is, You can get higher energy density and up to 20 to 30 more capacity in the same amount of space compared to a traditional lithium ion battery. It has a slimmer design, and this is especially useful in foldables and ultra thin phones because, for example, the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro packs a 5,700 milliamp hour cell and a 5.2 millimeter body. And of course, there's a faster charging potential. Silicone allows lithium diffusion, which means there's fast charging support. But you might be thinking, with all these benefits, why wouldn't Samsung just switch? Well, there's three caveats. There's the longevity issues, the regulatory limits, and the cost and complexity. Firstly, silicone expands during charging, which stresses the battery and can reduce lifespan over time. And for the regulatory limits, in the United States, batteries over 20 watt hours per cell face shipping restrictions. So brands have to split cells or cap the capacity. And lastly, for the cost and complexity, manufacturing silicone batteries is trickier and a lot pricier, so it's more reserved for the top of the line phones for now. I'm not advocating for every phone to be made to have the silicone battery tech, but it is great for foldables and those premium phones where space and performance matters the most. Yes, for the budget and the mid range phones, we should stick to the lithium ion tradition, but come on, Samsung, you gotta do something at this point. Uh, you're not the same. I'm not gonna get into that rant. Also, I know it's not a gaming phone, but you could give us a better gaming performance mode, like an adaptive refresh rate, or thermal tuning, and use that RAM optimization for mobile esports, emulation, or just game streaming. Foldable shouldn't lag behind these slab phones. They should lead and show how mobile gaming isn't dead. It actually is, but whatever. This is something I want personally and might be a hot take, but for the AI and buttons, I want dedicated tools and not just gimmicks. Add a dedicated button on it that's customizable like the old Bixby button from the Note 8 to the S10 era. Let me choose what a single press, a double press, and a long press can do. Sure, I know that good lock and the settings can kind of replicate this, but it's time for a physical shortcut again. Integrate AI features deeper into multitasking and context awareness actions, not just photo edit AI. Granted, I do know that the new Google Gemini has been gotten a lot better, and I thank you for that, but I have to get the Fold 7 to actually know how it works. And for the UI enhancements, make use of that inner screen. Add an always on inner display ambient mode. Show me the music controls I have, the calendar, or smart home widgets when it's unfolded and when it's left inactive. And next, I have the camera, placement, and power. Now, let's talk about the inner display camera because I'm conflicted, and I think a lot of people are too. I don't hate the under display cameras like we've had on the Fold 3 to 6. I just think they're not ready yet. And the Fold 7's punch hole is much better in terms of quality, but it still breaks the immersion. So what Samsung should do is still have the physical camera not under the display, but move it to the corner of the phone like the Apple Find N5 or the Pixel Fold. Why, you might ask? Well, it keeps the camera out of the crease zone. It's better symmetry for video calls if you're one to do Zoom meetings, and it's just better space for multitasking. And not to mention, it wouldn't cut in front of your content if you're watching YouTube videos horizontally. I'm not one of those people advocating for the under display camera to be removed entirely. I still would want it, it provides use case, but moving it to the corner would be more ideal and middle ground between screen immersion and functionality. On that note, the rear cameras also need a serious upgrade, especially on the Ultra model. Give it the new upcoming S26 Ultra's camera system, or just use the S25 Ultra's camera system to cut costs. Just give us something that's actually Ultra. Foldable shouldn't lag behind these slab phones anymore, and Samsung already has world class sensors in house. If you're gonna call it an Ultra, it needs Ultra cameras. I don't want any of these good enough cameras on a $2,000+ device. And speaking of the price of this phone, we need to change this in the box experience. Throw back to 2019. The OG Fold shipped with the case, Galaxy Buds, and a charger, all for under $2,000, and the base storage configuration was 512 gigabytes. Fast forward to the Fold 7, the base storage configuration is 256 gigabytes, and for the top tier model, it's $2,419, and they're giving you in the box a cable. Just a cable.
Now, a luxury device deserves luxury packaging, right? And maybe a little something extra. Perhaps a pair of our new dynamic earbuds.
We need to change that. The Fold 8, both variants, should include a clear MagSafe compatible case, a 45-watt charger, or the 35 like I suggested earlier, and an anti-reflective screen protector pre-installed on both displays. It's simple stuff I'm asking for, but it makes the experience feel premium like it's supposed to be. And let me dive more into my Fold 8 Ultra. This should bring us true flagship energy. Here's what the Fold 8 Ultra needs to live up to its name. Firstly, I want a built-in S Pen that's larger than the one in the S25 Ultra, and bring back the Bluetooth functionality. Next, I need a 1TB storage and a 16GB RAM model only. I don't want any watered-down base model. That should be the only configuration. Next, I want a copper vapor chamber for better thermals. Like I said, thicken the phone, or give it a silicone carbon battery for higher density and faster charging. Now, yes, let's bring up that quick refresher on silicone carbon batteries. They've only been rolling out for 2 years since 2023, and it's mainly Chinese markets like Honor, OnePlus, Xiaomi, and Vivo. And this new battery type offers 20 to 30% higher energy density, faster charging potential, but they're pricier and have potential longevity trade-offs. But still, they're perfect for premium foldables where every millimeter matters. Nextly, shout out to my boy Flossie Carter because we need IR blasters back. And yes, it might be niche, but us power users who would buy this phone would love it. And I do know that Samsung has their SmartThings app, but that's only compatible with Samsung products. Nextly, like the Galaxy Tab series, I want quad rail speakers. I don't want any fake grills. I don't want it to have to depend on Dolby Atmos or use a Bluetooth speaker separate from the device to make my sound quality actually sound good. Nextly, I want a little bit better dust resistance. I do know that the hinge has recently improved, but come on. And of course, we have the biggest caveat, the price history. It's getting ridiculous. Take a look at my chart here I've compiled, and we notice a weird trend. In 2019, when the Galaxy Fold was unveiled, it only had a 512GB model, and it was $1,980. And keep in mind, you got a lot of stuff in the box. Now, this is excusable. It was a first-generation product, and we've never seen a foldable on the market before this came out. Then the Galaxy Z Fold 2 released the next year, with only 256GB starting at $1,999. Then, magically, when the Z Fold 3 came out in 2021, it had two variants, 256GB starting at $1,799, and 512GB starting at $1,899. What happened that year, and how did it get $200 cheaper for the base configuration? I'm not entirely sure, but I do know that in 2022, they kept that same price point, and in 2023, while the 256GB model stayed the same, the 512GB model went up $20. The 512GB model was $1,919, and they finally introduced a 1TB model, starting at $2,159. Then in 2024, 256 gigs was $1,899, 512 was $1,999, and 1TB was $2,200. Then with the new lineup, 256GB, which honestly shouldn't exist anymore, is $1,999, 512 is $2,119, and 1TB is $2,419. Look at that. We're paying more every year without any revolutionary upgrades. Granted, I do know the Fold 7 is the best Fold yet, and it's the most different. But come on, we're not asking for foldable magic anymore. We're asking for fair value and full-featured experiences. And to give us that experience, let's get better pre-order perks. Make it worth the hype. Don't just give me a cable in the box and call it a day. Give me more reasons to buy it early. Give me free Galaxy Buds. Give me a free Galaxy Watch or $400 in Samsung store credit. Or hell, you could be even generous and give me a year free of Samsung Care Plus. If Samsung wants to justify spending near $2,000 for a base configuration of a foldable phone in 2025, when Google has theirs listed as a few $100s less, then these are the upgrades, features, and polish we should be getting for that price point. Enough ranting. So that's my full Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 wish list. What do you think? Am I asking too much? Would you buy a Fold 8 Ultra with all these features? Would you ditch the inner camera completely for a clean screen? Let me know down in the comments below. This is Dr. Electro with the Electro Company, signing out.